Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of Books and Data with Lady O. I'm Lady O, and on this channel, I talk all about books and data and my journey to completing my Bachelor's of Science in Data Science. And today we are going to do our January 2025 reading wrap up. Let's get to it. Okay, so I have up here my January Command Center, as I've been calling it. And this month was actually a really good reading month. I enjoyed it. And as you can see, I had quite a few 5-star, 4-star reads, one DNF, but honestly, I count all that as great. And I also finished up the book of Genesis through my Bible reading plan. We're almost done with Acts. I have a couple more chapters to get through going into February, but overall, it's been a great month. And yes, we are still celebrating the Dean's List for last quarter. Hey, we have to take the small wins where we can get it as far as school is concerned. I am currently in my last week for data programming languages and am so excited. I believe we are going to pull off an A minus. I'm hoping that's where we're going. And of course, as I continue on with this journey, I'll be bringing along more bookish projects and all the fun things. But right now, let's go ahead and jump into these reviews. So, first off, we have The White Girl. Now, this book, I would say, is definitely one of those, it reminds us of the past so we don't repeat it. And it's just one of those stories that's, it's kind of like a warning to us all to, hey, we need to remember that dark history of America, of the world, actually. As you can see, we are in Australia with this book. And yeah, it's important to remind us about history so that we don't make the same mistakes going forward. So basically, this book is set in the 1960s Australia. We're following Sissy. She's a mixed Aboriginal girl and her grandmother, Odette. And at this time, it's a little different because think 1960s here in America. We were going through civil rights movement, segregation in the South, of course, but with Australia, because of government policies, basically they were doing like forced removal of Indigenous children, and poor little Sissy, she just finds herself in all these predicaments and is consistently at risk of being taken away from Odette. Now, Odette is the grandma, and we need to give her like hats off, all the praise, because this woman just goes through so much to make sure that she's going to keep her granddaughter safe, and she was absolutely a lovable character overall. Now, the main highlight of the book, I would say, for me, I just kept getting that consistent, like, stolen generations type vibe where, Aboriginal children were taken away from their families and kind of forced to assimilate. We have a very similar story here in America with the Native American children's and also, of course, the African Americans that were enslaved and kind of lost their heritage as well. So that parallel, if you're an American reading this book, I would say very prominent. Now, beyond that, of course, we're going to go into all the themes of racism, social injustice, quite a bit of generational trauma, I would say. We also find our friend Henry. So Henry's story is it's so sad. It's gut wrenching. Poor man never stood a chance, and he's just caught between two worlds. So Henry, he's a white man, and he has to be the one that enforces the rule of law. However, he grew up among all of these Aboriginal people, and during the beginning of his life, he actually he was friends with Odette, and he would play with him. But then, of course, evil dad comes along, don't you mess with that woman type deal. And unfortunately, we just see Henry go through a pretty bad spiral. His story ended kind of sad. But yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. It ended a little sad. And another character definitely need to shout out Bill Shea. Mr. Bill Shea in this story, he is definitely like one of those characters that kind of restores faith in humanity. He was kind, he has just the sweetest heart, and he helped Odette with Sissy, making her a special something for her birthday. And that was absolutely one of my favorite parts of the book, was just seeing how Bill Shea was treated, but how he consistently remained kind. And this goes into another part of the book where Bill Shea, he has like a type of learning disability, but he owns his own junkyard completely, independent, can work and do for himself. But yeah, he's definitely a highlight of the story as well. Um, I did find a few parts of it slow moving, and I really wanted a little bit more depth, especially into Bill Shea's story. And I would have loved to learn a lot more about Henry. That's kind of why my rating went to 3 stars on this one. It's still not bad. It was definitely a story that I would say is a good story for anyone to read. I would probably place it more like the high school level. This would be a good book to introduce as far as like Aboriginal children go, if you're talking like world studies and racism, things like that. But overall, I believe it was a great story to shine a light on a little bit of history. Um, Let me know your thoughts in the comments for sure. And definitely, please like and subscribe. And we're going to keep our bookish discussions going. And now let's head over to our next review. So, up next, we have Emily's Fortune. And oh my goodness, this little book was just so adorable. It was a sweet, cute little action packed adventure, and I was just going right through it. It was absolutely fun. And so, in the month of January, I turned off my Audible subscription. And I said, you know what? We are going to try so hard to let's try to read for free. Let's use Libby. Let's use what's my thing called? The free little libraries. Let's use all the things. Let's see if we can read for free this month. And I will say we did it. And by doing that challenge is how I found Emily's Fortune, which was really fun. So I think I'm going to continue doing that throughout the year, taking a pause from like my subscriptions and just seeing what fun little things we can find. So Emily's Fortune, she's just the sweetest little girl, and her mannerisms, oh my goodness. I was just like, laughing out loud. She's just like, what in the honky monkey? Let's talk about it, guys. And she would just have me tickled the entire time. And so, Emily, yeah, so she's just a little girl, and she lives with her mom, and her mom was the maid or servant for a wealthy woman that lived in a farmhouse type thing. Now, just by chance, unfortunately, mom and the rich lady died in an accident. And poor little Emily, she needs to hurry up and get herself to Aunt Hilda before these the horrible little Ketchum people, that's what they're called. They're called Ketchum, before they catch her. Now, the Ketchum people are basically like the CPS of the time, except it is so horrible because these Ketchum people, they like make money by, or commission. Yeah, let's go with the word commission. They make commissions off of catching these orphan children and placing them with the nearest relative, because basically that way the government doesn't have to front any money. So that's the Ketchum people. They're basically like the bounty hunters of orphans. And that whole part, it was a whole thing. It was very interesting. I had to go into a deeper dive of this Western era of children's services. And Yeah, I might have to do a little bit more on that, and looking forward to sharing more about that in the future in other reads. So, continuing on, basically, poor Emily, in order to get to Aunt Hilda, she basically has to take a ride. She has to ride for days, and she basically needs to get from her current town all the way somewhere towards California, I believe it was. Now, all of this is happening. She's got to get on stage coaches. She's got to disguise herself, and she also has the horrible uncle. That's the guy that you see in the picture reaching his hands out. And it's called Emily's Fortune. So you can probably gather that she is going to be a trust fund baby. And how that comes about, you will be thoroughly surprised. It's a quick I think it was 4 hours. I listened to it on Audible and not Audible, on Libby. Libby. I found it on Libby, and yeah, so she's this very wealthy trust fund baby, but if she doesn't hurry up and get to Aunt Hilda before them catching people catch her, and then her uncle is also looking for her, then she is going to be in a world of trouble. Now, the other main character we got to point out is another orphan. His name is Jackson, and they build the cutest little friendship, and they just have the sweetest banter all along this journey. They end up taking the journey together. And Jackson, he's just like, he's trying to help Emily navigate the world because Emily, she was very sheltered. She stayed on the little farm with her mom and the wealthy boss. So she's very naive to the ways of the world. And Jackson, he's just so sweet and he catches on to that. But as we keep going about the story, you have little Emily here, like, how do I know that you're not going to come and try to take my money? And it was just so cute. There was just too much cute little banner, and there was like serious like action packed like little spurts of incidences that happen as this girl tries to get to Aunt Hilda. But I would definitely say if you're looking for like a palate cleanser, quick little fun read, this is absolutely a good one to go with. I definitely needed it after reading White Girl. So I was happy to get a little reprieve from some of the heavy. And let's see, I believe yes, I gave 4 stars to this sweet little book. And yeah, looking forward to finding some more cute little I guess she's middle grade. Yeah, this would be a good middle grade book. And a little bit more into westerns. I didn't think I would be that into it as far as that western style read, but I actually quite enjoyed myself. And again, all of the cute little mannerisms and quirky little sayings, just it just made my day. Very, very cute read. All right. So, if you all have like a Western or any kind of adventure, please let me know. I'm always looking for a good book rec. Now, let's jump on over to our next one. Okay, so we're going to keep going with the orphan type theme, and that is going to be with my Newberry pick for the month, which was The Witch of Blackbird Pond. Now, first off, definitely was not what I was expecting when I read the book. I completely thought that we were going to go down that whole what was that time, like Salem witch trials type vibe, and I was just like, I don't know if I really want to read that. But I was like, I have a goal to get through the Newberry list in life. So I figure maybe if I read one once a month at some point in time, we'll get finished with that list. So for this month, yes, Witch of Blackbird Pond. Now, main girl is Kit Tyler. And this okay, so Kit Tyler basically she grew up in Barbados. Okay, so think about this: sweet little girl grew up in Barbados, completely free, sun shining, beautiful seas. At the time, the plantation that she lived on with her granddad. Um, the workers, they were basically, they were like friend, they were like her friends. That was her family, and that's what she was used to. So she didn't necessarily have any kind of societal norm thing in Barbados. She was around who she wanted to be around. She was friends with who she wanted to be friends with, and she was just beautiful and free spirited, not judgmental at all. But then, yes, Grandpa dies. Okay, and her closest family is in Connecticut, Puritan time Connecticut, and that poor baby did not fit in. She did not fit in, not nowhere. She had her cute little dresses, and she's used to being free and just doing what she wants to do with life. And she goes through like a real culture shock. But what made it so sweet throughout the book is that she just always remained kind, and she tried so hard to be optimistic and figure out how to bring life and fun back to this like cultish type Puritan town in Connecticut. Now, the witch part kind of comes in where she makes friends with this supposed witch, Hannah. Um, she's not. So the supposed witch, Hannah, who she's an outcast, like Quaker type woman. And she also befriends young Prudence. Oh, now I would say the main reason this book got 4 stars and not five is because I wanted to get so much more of Prudence's story. And basically, Prudence was a sweet young girl who has a mom who is a piece of work. That's all I got to say. That mom is a piece of work, and her daddy needs to grow up here and go get her. That's that's how I felt the whole time. Like she was that character that you love to hate. Like her mom was so mean. And but Kit, like she didn't care about none of that. She didn't care about social norms. All she did was she loved on people. Now Hannah, she was this older, like I said, the old Quaker woman who was an outcast. And all she did was go and spend time with her, have fellowship with her, read Bible, and along the way, she was teaching young Prudence how to read, which I can't say any more about that because that would be a spoiler. That's probably one of the best parts of this story. I would absolutely say if you like historical fiction with, the friendships, there was some rebellion. There was a lot. I forget that. There was a lot of rebellion, but rebellion on Kit's half because she was not having it. And there was some sprinkled in little love stories all throughout the book. I was cheering for a couple, but again, there was just so many cute moments all throughout that you can't really talk too much about them because they would be spoilers. It is very much a middle grade book, but it was for the most part very entertaining, few laughable moments, and I would definitely suggest it's a good, another one of those good kind of like transition books. Now it has a few heavy moments in it, of course, because again, we're going back into the time of the Puritans where they were very strict and all we did was work, 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 and no makeup, no bright colors, none of that. So um, I'm not gonna say it was somber. There wasn't really anything somber about it, but that's a nice little palate cleanser. I definitely enjoyed it for sure. So yes, overall 4 stars. Great book, great little read, and yeah, Witch of Blackbird Pond. Okay, now let's go jump into some fun stuff. All right, so up next we have a new fantasy, well, new to me, fun fantasy adventure, and that is the Wingfeather Saga. I am just absolutely elated. I love it. So, let's see. I believe, yes, shout out to Miss Laura from church. I asked her about this series because I wasn't really in a slump, but I was just like, what she would read next. And yeah, she definitely said that the Wing Feather Saga was a good one to jump into, and at the start of the year to kind of, because I'm like a seasonal reader. Like I'll read pretty much any book, but I need the season of the book to match like what season it is that I'm in currently, because ambiance and things. But anyways, okay. This was the line that got me hooked. So, the old stories tell that when the first person woke up on the first morning in the world where this tale takes place, he yawned, stretched, and said the first thing he saw, "Well, here we are." Hold on. The man's name was Dwayne, and the first thing he saw was a rock. A rock. That's great. And next to the rock was a woman named Gladys. Gladys, whom he would learn to get along with very well. And in the many ages that followed, that first sentence was taught to children and their children and their children's children. So just an introduction into the world of here we are, because this dude woke up and said, "Well, here we are, so it's here we are." That's the world. And that just tickled me so much because, of course, we see that parallel on the book of Genesis. And it's a really cute way to open up a fantasy book. And it's also a way to, I guess, I don't want to say subliminal messaging, but it's kind of like subliminal messaging because we're sneaking in that Genesis story of the first day, but Dwayne, like I just anyways, that was hilarious. So basically, this book is everything I love so much about middle grade. It has the adventure, very whimsy, and the world building for this being a middle grade and the mystery that's happening around here was awesome. So here we are is like I'm gonna keep shaking my head. Here we are, goodness. Okay, so Ariar is basically a land where the fangs of Dang rule over everybody, and they're just like these lizard people, and they have like, and they have the cows have teeth, and there's these crazy little creatures that hide in the forest, and then of course you have humans that live there, and the fangs of Dang think that humans stink. Rude, but they're lizard people, so what do I know? So, the main family we have here are the Igby siblings, and we've got Janner, we've got Tink. My goodness, that's seriously the name. His name is Tink, and then we have Lily. She's so sweet. That poor little Lily. She's handicapped. Like she has a bum leg, and she's just always finding herself in the worst predicaments, getting kidnapped, falling on things. She's a good time, but of course her brothers always come and help her out. So for this first book, they're on the run, they're dodging the fangs, they're trying to get through forests, they're going through secrets, they are on a full-blown adventure. Now, in the midst of all of this, in the village where the children are, Glipwood, they have this kind of like boogeyman thing going on, and it's the black carriage. So the black carriage, it just comes through at night, and all of a sudden, just children disappears. No one knows what happens to them, and it's basically kind of like that. You better go to bed, and or the boogeyman's about to come and get you. So and also, there's this main character. His name, well, not main character. I think he's going to become a main character. I think. I don't know yet. We'll see how the series goes. But there's a big twist with him at the end. However, for right now, we're going to say Pete. So Pete, I promise, I think maybe he's a schizophrenic. I don't know for sure, but it's quite possible he is. But he says, "Fangs in the carriage. The black carriage in the night. The black carriage only takes what it's given." And he just goes around. I don't know what he talks about. He just rambles on. And also some other cool characters we have. Of course, in the family, we've got Naya. I think that's how she says her name is Naya. And forget that. My dude. His name is Poto, and he is a one-legged ex-pirate, and that is the grandpa ex-pirate. Like, can you guys just imagine having an ex-pirate with one leg walking around? This dude, he be walking around ready to like get his grandkids. Like, didn't I tell y'all to stay out of trouble? Why are you walking around in the streets? He was just so funny. He's a very funny grandpa, but it's like he's an ex-pirate. So I'm sitting here like, is he being funny? Like I can't catch if he's being funny or if he's like really about to take his peg leg and like clock them or whatnot. But all throughout the book, there's just all different kinds of, like I said, this book for being middle grade, the world is very well built. I absolutely loved it. And one of the best spots, of course, my favorite spot was this bookshop. And it just has all kinds of old books, secret messages, and definitely just a lot of adventure within there alone. Now, while they're helping out in the bookshop. That's kind of something that they do. They help the bookkeeper. We also have our villain, and I think his name is Slar, but everyone always says his name wrong because he's kind of like that villain that's like a dummy, and he's just a dumb villain. He's always trying to like catch these kids and makes horrible things about eating them. Anyways, yeah, he's just always trying to catch them, and he just really wants to get them. So he's the bad guy. And of course, in the middle of this book, I don't know if it's still going to stay like that, but in the middle of the book, we have Janner. Now, he's the eldest. And of course, as the eldest, he's supposed to be the responsible one, taking care of all the things as his father is not around. I mean, of course, he has granddad, but, he's being trained up to be the man of the house. Now, all kind of things start unfolding because grandpa keeps dropping hints like you need to protect Tink, and a twist comes up between Tink and Janner, and it was just absolute perfection the way that happened. I absolutely loved it. Definitely a fun series to jump into. Really excited to continue. I even had to go and get a physical copy of this book because I did listen to it off of Libby, and I was able to get some snips offline because I was like, no, there's just so much going on in the world, so many characters. Like, I need to annotate because I want to keep up on what's going on in the series. And then, oh yeah, the true hero of the book, his name is Nugget, and he is a dog. Like, honestly, that's really all I needed to see, that there was a dog named Nugget, and I would have still probably read this book. That was just too cute. But absolutely a fun adventure, wild ride, and really love, like I said, the world is amazing. So can't wait to continue on in that series. And yeah, I would say if you haven't read it, you should jump in. It's a great middle grade adventure. 5 stars for this one for sure. I personally fully engaged, loved it. And again, I'm even about to start making some character maps that I'll probably get to show you guys when I do the next review on the next book in this series. So drop a comment. Please let me know if this is a series that you have already read or might think about reading. I would love to do a buddy read on this one because it's just a lot, but I'm so excited to keep going and jumping in. Moving on to the Frozen River. Oh my goodness. 5 stars all around. The hype was real. I absolutely loved it. And I did not think I was going to like this book as much as I did. So, very excited for all the things. Now, here's what's going on. So we have Martha Ballard. She is a midwife in 18th century Maine. Like, first of all, 18th century and then Maine. It's cold. I know it's cold, and yeah, midwife. I don't know. When it comes to pastimes and sanitation, I get like queasy when I think about it. But basically, what's happening is a body has been found in the frozen river, and Martha, she is the midwife, but she's also the doctor. We're not going to say doctor because they don't call her a doctor, but we're going to say the medical professional that is available to get that first look and do that initial autopsy, and she normally does for the town. So there's a whole mystery surrounding this. I'll say it, little piece of poo that we found in the river. So there's your preface. Like, he's a good dead villain to start with, and this whole mystery of this man being found dead just spirals. The entire town is thrown into chaos, and we got a whole bunch of little busybodies and little gossipers, and all the while, poor Martha, like she still has to sit here and deliver babies and be a mom and be the medical professional that goes and speaks at court hearings. Like she is just all over the place. So with that, the main thing that kept me invested in the story, aside from the mystery, because it was a good one, and it took me a while to guess the who done it, and even then I second guessed myself, but the twist just kept coming. It was great. So, yeah, if you're into the mystery part of it, it's still here for you. But the main part, I already talked a little bit about it, but I just cannot speak enough about it, was Martha and Ephraim's marriage. Oh my gosh. I was sitting here swooning the entire time. I'm not going to say it was necessarily a marriage of convenience, but y'all know how 18th century standards were. So if you was kissy kissy, you get married. Like that's what's happening. You going to get married and that's the end of the story. But the way that Ephraim, he's such a gentleman. Oh, like swooning. I'm swooning. Ephraim is just such a gentleman. He's so sweet. And oh my goodness, guys, the honeymoon was like the best I've ever seen. Now, this is pretty much a clean read. You're not going to see all that stuff. But, and that's the whole point. Like, just imagine on your honeymoon night, you don't know how to read. And the first thing your husband decides to teach you how to read is the Song of Solomon. Like, just hard stop. Look, I'm like blushing. Oh my goodness. It was just too cute. It was so cute, so full of love. Honestly, there is some pretty dark stuff that happens in here. There's some graping. I don't want to say that other word because I don't want to get flagged or anything. So there's some graping going on, and then there's also there's a little bit of heartache with miscarrying children and the loss of children. But the way that Martha just soldiers on throughout this story is simply amazing. And she is definitely a character to dive deeper into. And I absolutely love the author's note because, come to find out, Martha is based on a real person. And this novel was written around her diary, her journal. So she used to write in her journal every day, and it didn't have to be any long thing or whatnot. She literally just said how her day went or what she did. Like, I woke up today, the sky was blue, and I decided to go for a walk. Like, things like that. Like, she just literally documented her day, her life. And then the twist comes in when you find out how important it is actually to keep a journal. So reading this novel absolutely kind of got me back into the swing of keeping my own my own journal, even if it doesn't necessarily have to be, like I said, any long drawn out thing, but you should write down your thoughts. You should preserve your thoughts in some way, shape, or form, because I just love that quote there. I haven't done anything extremely remarkable, but my journal says I'm here. I was here, and this could be of use to someone. And the very cool thing about Miss Martha Ballard is we find out that she is directly a descendant of hers is going to be someone that starts the Red Cross. So that was some fun historical facts that got thrown in the author's note. I promise I was probably here mostly for the author's note too. The author's note, Ephraim and Martha's marriage, just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And now, keeping with the story keeping with the theme of Martha being a midwife, there's a lot of birthing going on in this book because she's a midwife, right? So one thing that just completely stood out to me, it said birth is a communal act. Communal. And all of them, women, spring into action as her resolve slips and she cries out in pain. They know what this means. Even those with no specific job find something to do. Boiling water, tending the fire, folding clothes. This is women's work at its most elemental. Gotta get chills. This is women's work at its most elemental. Men have no place in the room. This was like one of those really feminist quotes where I just rolled my eyes because I was so glad to have my husband in the room with me for the birth of our child. So I can't fully agree with that, but I can say like when it comes to men prodding into women anatomy. I'm not going to say autonomy. Forget that word. I'm going to say anatomy. Women knows what their bodies are doing during birth. Like, you leave me alone. That's how I be feeling. Like, I know what my body's doing. You don't tell me what to do. You don't have a uterus. That's kind of where I believe her heart was coming from. But you can definitely see a lot of tones of the feminist movement creeping out in this. It wasn't horrible. I still think it like beautifully kind of captured like that role of a midwife at that time, and still even today some people do choose to go with a midwife if they can safely. So overall I absolutely loved it. Like I said, the mystery is bomb and the characters are amazing, but the most thing, I was just here for their love story. It was so beautiful, so wonderful, and it's like a picture of marriage that some of us could only dream or aspire to. Not No marriage is perfect, but this one, it's a good goal to reach for. I'll just say they are very complimentary, and I definitely enjoyed seeing their story. Keeping on with our winter theme, let's move into Winterhouse. And of course, because I am not already in the mental, I'm going mental, in the middle of I think I've lost count. I want to say I'm in the middle of probably like 10 series right now, which it's not horrible. They're all pretty, have their own separate identities, and I'm still enjoying them. So I can keep the things separated, which is great. But of course, I needed to jump into another series. Why not? So we are jumping into Winterhouse. Now, this is definitely one of the cutest little cozy reads. This is, grab a hot chocolate and let's go ahead and just dive in type deal. And for this one, this was another one of those special treats from doing the challenge of not having my Audible. And I just happened to come across it on Libby, and I was like, all right, let's do it. So I just went in completely blind with this one, and it was honestly a really good special treat. So, our main girl, her name's Elizabeth, and she loves books, of course, and she loves to solve puzzles. And I don't know what my thing is, but she is also an orphan. So I've read a lot of orphan books this month, which is that's okay because these orphans are awesome. And Elizabeth, she is definitely a pretty awesome kid. So she finds herself like she gets shipped off to this Winterhouse hotel at Christmas, nonetheless, and she doesn't know why she's there. And her aunt and uncle. Let's see. I got straight up Harry Potter vibes from her aunt and uncle. Like, if you know Harry Potter and you know the aunt and uncle, that's her aunt and uncle. So what happens is she just gets invited to go off to this random hotel, and her aunt and uncle they just let her go. No one knows who paid for this child to end up at this hotel, um, and they were basically bribed to just put her on a train and give her away. And I'm just like, okay, um, that's okay. That's where we're going. Fine. Okay, so we get to Winterhouse, and Winterhouse is absolutely enchanting. I did like, um, there was plenty of description in this book. I really, once again, all the little series I've been jumping into, they do a really good job at building the world, and that's kind of like what gets me going is I'm more of like a whimsical, fantastical type person. I don't dive too deep into like dark magical stuff, but like whimsy, lighthearted. Yeah, I was here for it. I absolutely loved it. So we're at Winterhouse, absolutely enchanting. Lots of hidden little secrets and puzzles. So there's these two old guys there that are doing like some obscene 3,500 piece puzzle that they've been working on for a couple years. And that's definitely a cute little interweaving of the story. Absolutely love it. But when Elizabeth gets there, she meets her friend Freddie. Now, Freddie is an inventor, and he also likes like word puzzles and riddles and ladders. And they just ultimately become this cute little detective duo. And all of a sudden, in great fashion, Elizabeth goes and explores the library, and this crazy little book comes up. And the book has a key to a very deep dark curse, and she's gonna figure it out. So that's basically what's going on. And this book, though, it's so cute because it has like all these cute little puzzles and riddles and different things to do along the way. So I know one thing, they set up like a scavenger hunt together. Um, and there was also other little riddles, but I can't talk about it too much because some of those lead into spoilers, so we won't go there. But beneath everything, there's something that's so very cute that's happening. I straight up get insta family vibes from the beginning. We have a very sweet librarian, the owner of the hotel. He's an absolute peach. He's like that uncle you want to have. Straight up loved him. And there is a very clear theme, like family. It's not always who those are your blood relation or whatnot, but it's all the people that come around you, make that village, support you, and love you. And you definitely see how Elizabeth is starting to learn to soften her heart a bit because she's had to deal with evil aunt and uncle for a minute. And now she's in this wonderful hotel where she's free to roam, she's free to learn. She has all these books at her disposal from the library. But there's a couple of dubious characters that come on it. Look, I learned a new word. Why? Yes, dubious. So the best thing about this little book is each chapter, it has like little word riddles, and oh my goodness, it was just too much fun. And yes, I expanded my vocabulary. So dubious, ominous characters that were involved. And they play a pretty big, grand theme into the mystery that needs to be solved that will hopefully help Elizabeth break this curse. So I would definitely say, again, just a cute, cozy little middle grade mystery and a little bit of magic, mostly whimsy. Absolutely loved it. And yeah, nice 4-star read. And looking forward to reading the next one. So we are at our last stop with the Nevermoor series. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I already talked a little bit about both of these books in separate videos, but just a general overview because I ate them both up in the month of January. Absolutely loved it. So Nevermoor, whimsical, magical, fantastical. I loved it. Just think about this, like you're having your last meal, okay? This is your last meal on Earth, and then for some mysterious reason, some mad ginger named Jupiter North shows up and crashes your last meal. And then all of a sudden, come to find out, he is going to steal you away and traffic you on into the magical world of Nevermore. And he is basically like Morgan Crow's fairy godfather. So Morgan Crow, our main girl, straight up Coraline type Wednesday vibes. Absolutely love her nonetheless. She just cannot get away from all of these precarious situations that she ends up, life-threatening precarious situations. And then there goes a whole thing of possible deportation from Nevermore. And it's seriously a very fast moving and slightly scary, violent type series. Definitely middle grade for sure. I think any child, any preteen. I enjoyed it as an adult, so I would read it either way. I'm reading it. But basically, at 11, I say 11 and up would definitely enjoy this. But she ends up escaping her impending doom because she is cursed. And on this day, her last day as a cursed child, she was supposed to instantly die. But crazy Mad Hatter Jupiter North came in, stole her away and took her off to Nevermoor, where she is now going to be competing for a spot in the Wondrous Society. Oh my goodness. And then just brave. So we're going into the next one, going to Wundersmith. Wondersmith was absolutely a whole nother level of magic, twist. I was eating it up. And right off the bat, there was this scene with is Raphael. He's kind of like an ethereal type being, and in the Wondersmith, we had black markets, we had blackmail, we had traders, and we had some fiends, y'all. So we had some fiends for this character is Raphael, and every time he sung, people they would become like addicted to his voice. So yeah, it was just there was many fantastical moments throughout the story. And as poor Morgan, again, she done sat here and basically survived the trials of getting into the Wondrous Society. She's in the Wondrous Society, but she's still an outcast, and she's very much an outcast because she has special abilities that were thought to be long gone or and are seen as evil. So we kind of get a lot of how do I say that word? We get a lot of discrimination. We get a lot of discrimination like you're an immigrant and you have all these bad powers that don't belong in our world. That's kind of the place where she's at right now. She does have quite a few friends along the way, and again, Jupiter North, he's absolutely the best sponsor we'll say that she could ever have. And also throughout the series, there's this crazy cat called Finestra, and she's just that spicy giant cat. And anytime there's a scene with her, she steals the whole thing. She's very catty. She's very spicy. She's very snip, snip, snip. And you don't want to mess with Finestra because she will like cut you off. But basically, she works in the hotel that Mr. North owns. But again, I've already rambled about them, but I'm still fangirling over them. So there's that. Absolutely loved the Nevermore series. Can't wait to read the next one. If you like Harry Potter, Wednesday, Alice in Wonderland type stuff, you would definitely love this book. Let's see, Wondersmith was 5 stars for me immediately. I just, like I said, I ate that one up. And you can kind of see, I like I believe these are the European type titles, or not titles, covers. I like the European ones better than the ones we have here in America just because they're a little, I don't know, digitized or whatever you want to call them. But yeah, I like those titles better. If you get to see the other covers, I would love to know which cover is your favorite because apparently there's a lot of contention among the fans of Jessica Townsend, the author. There's a lot of fans of hers that we're all going back and forth about which cover is the best. So definitely, please drop your 2 cents and let me know which cover this is the best if you plan on reading this book. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me here at Books and Data with Lady O. Have so much fun talking about the different books that I read, and it is quite amazing how I can get through so many and still do homework and do all the things. But reading is definitely, it brings a lot of joy to my heart and is a good way to kind of disconnect when we got to shut that brain down. So that's my why behind jumping into a good book. As you can see, I do read a lot of middle grade. I also enjoy historical fiction, mystery series. That's kind of where I leans towards, and of course, the book, the Bible. I'll definitely have to probably start a different series on my Bible reading because this video was really long, and I'm making it longer by rambling. But thank you all so much again. Please give me a like, a thumbs up, or drop a comment if you enjoyed the video, and would love to know what you're reading. You can definitely contact and connect with me on LinkedIn. I always enjoy meeting other booktubers or also anyone else that is interested in collabing on data projects. So thank you all again. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.